Oh, hello, welcome. My name is Robert Denton. This is the 7th video in my series High Performance After Burnout. It supports my book High Performance After Burnout, Fix the Stress Before the Damage is Done. Now that is a very serious message because burnout is a very serious problem. It ruins lives. It ruined my life, it ruined my businesses. All right, I have a new life now, a wonderful life actually. And the thing is that that's one of the paradoxes of burnout. In destroying so much, provided we have the right mindset, we have a new life after. But that's only if one really works at it to understand what the burnout is, what the burnout is saying, and what one must do to move on beyond the burnout. On here is a Tibetan phoenix, the phoenix bird rising out of its own ashes. It does it every 500 years. I'm glad to say that it didn't take 500 years to move on, but it did take me 20 years. Now in that 20 years I was studying neuroscience and the modern neurosciences or the modern disciplines, psychology disciplines of NLP, coaching and sports mind coaching. Sports mind coaching was particularly interesting to me because it really did open up the possibility of using the subconscious mind for high performance and no stress. There is no stress in the subconscious mind. It's just too vast. Or there may be other reasons for that as well. High Performance After Burnout is available at Amazon.com. If you live in Switzerland, that may not be possible because of Swiss government restrictions. However, the Swiss publisher First House Press has opened a email address at firsthousepress@gmail.com, and anybody in Switzerland wanting to buy the book can receive it by post or collect it personally. Actually, that goes for anyone in Europe. Anyway, that's okay. Now, First House Press is there, the address is there. Also, the addresses of my previous videos on this subject, High Performance After Burnout. Now, burnout is not the end of the road. It is a very powerful message to stop what you are doing because it ain't doing you any good. Burnout comes in many different forms, and from mild burnout to serious burnout to heart attack is a form of burnout. A stroke is a form of burnout. And those I've experienced who've had strokes who took it as a warning that they were doing something they shouldn't be doing with their lives, they seem to recover very quickly. Now, this is not a scientific observation. It's just something that I realized, or I've come to recognize works for some people. Whatever the burnout, the message is stop doing what you're doing. And in burnout, there's a thing called the want to but cannot syndrome. You really do want to carry on with your life, but you just can't. And that is, it's scary because there's nothing there stopping you. And when I lost my businesses, or when they eventually went to the wall, I tried to start a new business several times, and I wasted all that money because none of them worked. Whereas before I'd been able to set up new businesses and they worked. it's a very strange thing, the want to but cannot syndrome. Stress is a message to change our lives. One book I read on burnout was a lady maybe 25 years ago in America, and she went through burnout. I mean, this was before in Britain we'd ever heard of the word. And her book is called The Joy of Burnout, because she discovered a new life, a better life, a life without all the stress she had had previously. So the message is, certainly burnout is a warning to change, but I'm not saying go into burnout to change your life. I prefer you, if you have a feeling to change your life, then do it, rather than go through burnout, because burnout does it burns up a big chunk of your life, and you can lose a lot of things. And if you have a wife and family, a mortgage, it can be a real disaster. Okay, I just lost my companies, but it could have been much worse. So there are ways to avoid burnout if you're working under extreme stress, and those ways are to recognize what your intuitive intelligence and your emotional intelligence are telling you. And very possibly you may have an idea what you really want to do. In my case, I didn't want to do anything else, and when I hit burnout, it was pretty catastrophic, because I just didn't know what the earth I was going to do next. Interestingly, the burnout directed me to be fascinated about burnout and about stress, and how does stress work? What does it do to the body? What does it do to the brain? How does it come about? What is it? And the same with burnout. I wanted to know everything about burnout, and that's how I came to study neuroscience and the modern psychologies of NLP and life coaching and sports mind coaching. Certainly helped to put that in a realistic everyday setting, and it made it immensely interesting. So I discovered a new life through that. And then there was something else. It was very, very strangely, it directed me into writing a series of novels about a retired or earlier a British secret agent who went for early retirement because he was burnt out. In actual fact, it turns out that he wasn't burnt out. He was inheriting an amazing force, and what seemed like burnout was, in fact, his genetic code changing. Now that's rather interesting, because I didn't really have to think about these things. These books, there's 5 in the series so far, and they're entirely intuitive. I just sit down and type away, and then right, fair enough, I have to do the editing and the polishing and so on. But and I've had to learn. I've had to go through my apprenticeship, and I think my latest book, Carbella, is one of the best, because it's my writing skills are improving. Nonetheless, there are 2 things that burnout have given me. It took a lot away from me, but 2 things have given me. And I now have a fascinating life, a wonderful wife, and I have a new life. And I can understand that woman in America writing The Joy of Burnout, because yes, it has brought me great joy, but I could have had great joy in my previous job if I'd been doing it correctly and not burning myself out. The point is that we can, if someone is in a really stressful state, overwhelming stress, and really wondering what on earth are they going to do next? There is hope, because in the same way that high-performing sports people use the subconscious mind programs to achieve high performance, so we can use the same principles to achieve high performance in business, in our lives, in our relationships, in our marriages, and everything. We have this amazing thing called a subconscious mind, which nobody really knows anything about except coaches, sports mind coaches, because they understand the power of it. And well, of course, the high performing sports stars, they know how vital this is to them to maintain their position in their sport. This is how it's done, and this is what high performance after burnout is all about. In the book, there are a number of examples. Some of them can be a little bit appear to be way out, but it's how the subconscious mind works. It's incredibly powerful and does things that the conscious mind just cannot understand. Once one understands the potential for that, then almost anything is possible. This is the end of this video. The next video I'll talk about something a little bit more concrete in how I set up as a subconscious mind high performance coach and trainer, how I help to train and build performance programs without the stress. So until next time, register if you will, and we'll see what can be done to help those who really have a lot of stress and would like to get rid of that. So until next time, this is Robert Denton signing off.